Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is Unit 3 Speaking. But before we do that, let's revise what we previously took in the reading lesson. If you remember, we took the article about the Saudi vision from our leadership, of course, from Saudi Vision 2030. Let's listen to it again. Let's listen to it again now.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is blessed with a significant wealth of natural resources, an Islamic, family-oriented society and extraordinary opportunities for economic growth. The nation's Islamic faith, national identity, culture and heritage make it special and provide limitless potential for development. The nation is honored to welcome and serve an increasing number of pilgrims and visitors, from across the globe, every year. The expansion of the two holy mosques and the upgrading of services and facilities had helped to cater for 15 million visitors from its development until 2020. These improvements will continue to ensure that all pilgrims are well looked after when they visit. The people. Saudi Arabia's 2030 vision is largely based on the ambition, determination and talents of its people and their Islamic values. It is important, therefore, for the members of the Saudi society to be supported by social, healthcare and educational systems in order to cultivate and nurture its children in the best way possible to prepare them for a promising future. Cultural and entertainment projects will include the establishment of libraries, galleries, museums and the organization of different types of events and activities. Housing and community development projects will provide a pleasant, secure and sustainable environment for the citizens of the kingdom. An updated educational system will provide high-quality learning and develop available talent and potential. Graduates will have the knowledge and skills required by the job market and access to many opportunities for professional development.
As mentioned here, as we also mentioned in our previous lesson, the 2030 vision is largely based on the people of Saudi Arabia. As you can see here, the first two lines, the 2030 vision is largely based on the ambition, determination and talents of its people and their Islamic values. So the Saudi vision from our leadership is based on the people of Saudi Arabia, their beliefs, their ambitions, their religion. So this is what the people means, that the 2030 vision is based on the people. It's important, therefore, for the members of the Saudi society to be supported by what? By social, healthcare and educational systems. Why? In order to cultivate and nurture its children in the best way possible to prepare them for a promising future. So it's like a circle that happens to this country, that we are supporting the children to prepare them for the future of this country, so later on they can handle the country. So continuing with the second part of this article, the economy. Let's listen to it.
The economy. The kingdom's economy has great growth potential. A diversified and renewed business environment will offer employment opportunities to all citizens and attract new investors. Improved and updated services and facilities will attract small and large companies interested in participating actively in a dynamic economy. Telecommunications and information technology will be updated and made available in urban and rural areas. The kingdom's strategic position that connects the waterways of three continents, Europe, Africa, and Asia, will make it a leading trading and transportation port for cargo from different countries across the globe. Streamlined government services will facilitate the introduction of new business sectors and partners and support growth. Investment opportunities will be increased through privatization of state-owned assets and agencies. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will be a leading business hub with limitless opportunities for the development of new talent and creative enterprises.
So here the economy, what's being said in this part of the article, that the Saudi Arabia has a strategic position in the middle between three continents, in the middle of three continents in the waterway between Europe, Asia and Africa. Between Europe, Asia and Africa. That's what makes it unique and will be leading business hub with limitless opportunities. So this strategic position gives the country its limitless opportunities for the future. We also took the reading strategy, scanning for specific information. If you remember, the word scanning is not to look for the whole text, to scan it quickly, looking for some words or some specific information. Sometimes it's necessary to look for specific facts in a text without reading the whole thing. So you don't have to read the whole thing, just look for specific words or specific facts. To do this, you run your eyes quickly over the page, looking for specific words or phrases that will probably lead to the information that you need. So now I want you to open your workbook, page 100. Open now your workbook, page 100, exercise H. Exercise H. Correct the error in each sentence. So we'll be taking exercise about the lesson for 2 and enough, if you remember the lesson. The first one is already done for you here. The kitchen in that house is not enough big. Is not enough big, and that's wrong. So enough will be in the last of the sentence. So the kitchen in that house is not big enough. So the first one is already done. Number 1, he was too late to get on the airplane. He was too late to get on the airplane. So I think this is an obvious one here. So do you know what's wrong with this sentence and how do we correct it? So he was, yes, too late. So the correct answer is this one. He was too late. Too with double O. He was too late to get on the airplane. Very good. He was too late to get on the airplane. Number 2, do you have time enough to go to the store? Do you have time enough to go to the store? So what's wrong with this sentence and how do we correct it? Okay, let's check the answer here together. Do you have time enough to go to the store? So do you have enough time to go to the store? Do you have enough time? Not time enough, no. Do you have enough time to go to the store? Number 3, his friend bought him a new modern big watch. His friend bought him a new modern big watch. So pay attention to the order of the adjectives. Are they correct or not? You can open the grammar page if you want to check what's the correct order for the adjectives. And then you can come back and answer the question correctly. So his friend bought him a new, this is for old or age, modern also, big, this is size, watch. So what's the correct order here? Let's see the answer. His friend bought him a big new modern watch. A big, so we start with the size here. New modern watch. Very good. Number 4, there's a Korean little boy at the front door. There's a Korean little boy. So we're describing the boy using 2 adjectives, a nationality and size here. There's a Korean little boy at the front door. So what's the correct answer here? Yes, this one is an obvious one. There's a little Korean boy at the front door. There's a little Korean boy at the front door. Very good. Number 5, Ahmed is not enough fast to win the race. Ahmed is not enough fast to win the race. I think this is an obvious one. Ahmed is not enough fast to win the race. Does enough come before the adjective or the adverb? Of course not. So we say Ahmed is not fast enough, very good, to win the race. Ahmed is not fast enough to win the race. Number 6, we had an Indian delicious big feast for dinner last night. We had an Indian delicious big feast for dinner last night. So this one has to do with the order of the adjectives. So can you tell what's the correct order here? Let's see the correct answer. We had a delicious opinion, big size, Indian nationality feast for dinner last night. Very good. So we had a delicious big Indian feast for dinner last night. Number 7, he can't go on the roller coaster. He's young enough. He can't go. So he can't go on the roller coaster. He's young enough. So what's missing here in this sentence? He can't go on the roller coaster. He's young enough. Let's see the correct answer. He can't go on the roller coaster. He's too young. He's too young. Or you can say, of course, he's not young enough. Both of them are correct. Number 8, Wagner drives a old little cheap car. Wagner drives a old little cheap car. So what's the correct order here? Number 8. Let's check the correct answer. So Wagner drives a little old cheap car. A little old cheap car. Very good. Exercise I here. Complete the conversation with the words and phrases from the box. You can see the words and phrases here. An arm and a leg. Grand, megabucks, reality check. Cool, which is already done here. Hold on, out of touch, and tiny. So the conversation between the father and his son, or dad and his son. Did you see that Johnson's house is for sale? Did you see that the Johnson's house is for sale? The son replied, cool, I've always loved that house. Cool, I've always loved that house. The dad, I know, but number 1 here, don't get too excited. Son, okay, why? So, number 1, I know, but hold on, wait, don't get too excited. And the son replied, why? They're asking for it. They're asking for it. So they're asking what? Very good. They're asking an arm and a leg for it. So what does an arm and a leg mean? What does an arm and a leg mean? Yes, it means that it's too expensive. It means that it's too expensive. They're asking for a lot of money for it, an arm and a leg. Really? How much? So the father replied, over 500. Number 3, over 500. Very good. Over 500 grand. Over 500 grand, or of course, $500,000. So continuing here, the son replied, for that old house, for that old house. So what did he describe the house before the word old? Yes, for that tiny old house. For that, so the house is old and tiny. So that's why the son is asking, why is it that expensive? For that tiny old house, that's what? Number 5. Very good. That's megabucks. So it's too much for it. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. Dad, I know they need a, very good, they need a reality check. They need a reality check. Son, that's true. They must be, yes, very good. They must be out of touch if they think that anybody will pay that much. So they must be delusional. They must be out of touch if they think that anyone or anybody will pay that much. So jumping to page 101 here in the workbook, read the article about the White House, then answer true or false. So we'll be listening to this article about the White House, then we will be answering true or false question. So let's listen to it together.
The White House is the official residence and main workplace of the President of the United States. It is in Washington, D.C., and was built between 1792 and 1800. The White House has 4 stories, the ground floor, state floor, second floor, and third floor, plus a 2-story basement. Today, the White House complex includes the executive residence, where the President and his family live, the West Wing, the location of the Oval Office, the East Wing, and the old Executive Office Building, which houses the executive offices of the President and Vice President. There are many famous rooms in the White House. The entrance hall is the primary and formal entrance. It is located on the state floor, and is entered from Pennsylvania Avenue. It opens to the grand staircase, which connects the state floor to the second floor of the building. There are 3 state parlors on the state floor of the White House, the Green Room, the Blue Room, and the Red Room. They are each decorated in shades of their respective color and have been used for small receptions and teas.
So before we continue here, do you know what the White House is? When you hear the word White House, is it just a White House? Yes, that's correct. The White House is the official residence of main workplace of the President of the United States. So it's not just any ordinary White House. When someone says the White House, it means where the President of the United States is staying and, of course, working. So continuing with the article of the White House.
The East Room is the largest room in the White House. It is used for entertainment, press conferences, ceremonies, and occasionally for a large dinner. The White House's oldest possession, a portrait of George Washington that was painted in 1797, hangs in the East Room next to a portrait of his wife, Martha Washington, which was painted in 1878. The State Dining Room is the larger of 2 dining rooms on the state floor of the White House. It is used for receptions, luncheons, and larger formal dinners. The room seats 140 guests. The family dining room is also located on the state floor. The room is used for smaller and more private meals than those served in the state dining room. Today the President uses the family dining room less for family and more for working lunches and small dinners. Family dinners are usually served on the second floor in the President's dining room.
So now that we have listened to the article about the White House, let's answer the true or false question. The first one is already done. The US President lives and works at the White House. This is true, as I mentioned earlier. Number 1, the White House was built 100 years ago. The White House was built 100 years ago. Is this true or false? Let's check the correct answer here. It's false. Number 2, the Oval Office is in the West Wing. The Oval Office is in the West Wing. Is this true or false? Okay, let's check the correct answer here. Of course, it's true. The Oval Office is in the West Wing. Number 3, you can only enter the White House through the entrance hall. You can only enter the White House just through the entrance hall. Is this correct or not? Let's check the answer here. Of course, it's false. There's more than one entrance to the White House. 4 here, the Green Room is decorated in green. The Green Room is decorated in green. Is this correct? Let's check the answer here. It's true, hence the name. The Green Room is decorated in green. Number 5, the portrait of Martha Washington was probably painted after she died. The portrait of Martha Washington was probably painted after she died. Is this true or not? Let's check the answer here. It's true. Number 6, the President's family usually eats dinner in the family dining room. the president's family usually eats dinner in the family dining room. Is this correct or false? So it's false. So jumping to today's lesson, the speaking here talk about a family using the future forms. Work in pairs. Think about your family or an imaginary family in your city or town in 2030. So try to imagine your family situation, your father, your mother, your grandfather, yourself, your brother, your sister. In 2030, what will be happening in that year? Make notes in the chart about members of the family, their age, jobs, plans, the area and the house they live in, technology and telecommunications, travel and entertainment activities, culture and education. Use your notes to compare ideas in groups or in class. So once you finish completing the chart, compare your ideas with your friends. So this is the chart here: family members, area and housing, technology and telecommunications, travel and entertainment, culture, education, and also others if you want to add more. For example, first family members, children, area and housing, where will they be living? Of course, in a house in Riyadh, maybe. Technology and telecommunication in 2030, how will they communicate with each other? So I put maybe hologram phones using hologram images, maybe. Travel and entertainment, how will be they traveling from maybe a city to city, or inside the city, maybe through a hyperloop. Maybe they'll be traveling using the hyperloop, if you know it, the fastest way to travel. Education, maybe they'll be taking online learning, so learning will be online. Also, maybe the parents also be living in a house. And technology and communications, maybe there's a self-driving car at that time. They will be all over the place, the self-driving car. Travel and entertainment, maybe they will be traveling using the bullet train, and so on. You can continue with this chart yourself. Maybe you talk about your grandparents, maybe they're living in a farm, in the countryside maybe, and so on. And once you finish, compare your ideas with your friend. Here's a fun fact. According to one survey, 75% of homes in Canada have 5 or more rooms. This is the most in the world. Over 70% of homes in New Zealand, the UK, and the US also have over 5 rooms. Sweden, 23%, Austria, 19%, and Finland, 14%, are among the countries where fewer houses have more than 5 rooms. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.